Department heads, welcome back to another episode of From the Yellow Chair. I'm Emily.
And I'm Crystal.
And this week we are coming to you live from the International Roundtable hosted by Service Nation here in Nashville, Tennessee. And we have a very special guest with us here today, Miss Carol Longacre.
Yay, Carol!
Hi. Excited to be here.
She didn't even know what she was talking about. She just said, I'll be on the podcast, let's talk.
That's our favorite type of people, like just down to fly and have some good conversations. So, Carol, welcome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Great,
Yeah,
okay.
because you just changed roles.
I did just change
Yes,
roles.
so I'm excited to hear about it.
I am the director, and we kind of change this too. I'm the director of association management. We used to be the affiliate directors, and we're working on and rebranding and all the stuff that we're doing within Service Nation. So I work with all the trade associations. Not all. We partner with right now we partner with about 35. My goal is to increase that. To provide
Own those
services.
partnerships.
Own those partnerships.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, a lot of times we always are trying to tell. So, Service Nation, for those people that are listening to our podcast that don't really know what Service Nation is, we tout this all the time. Best practice groups, especially like Service Nation, which I have a special place in my heart for, because that's the association that we kind of cut our teeth on, if you will. And so we love them. We won an award last night, so we just love you guys.
A well-deserved award.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so
we
we're
love you guys
surprised.
too. Yeah.
So the best practice groups, I always feel like contractors can make the best of those, because it's how we learn from other contractors that are living our same life.
Absolutely.
And we're exposed to best practices, literally. The best way to do payroll, the best way to pay, the best CRMs, the best marketing companies, the best, all those things. But
Don't cut that out. That was intentional.
But you said this last night. You said, my goal is to get contractors to also be involved in their local associations. Mm-hmm. So when we say partners or affiliates and all those different pieces, tell us, what are some examples of those bigger ones that people really need to be paying attention to and engaging with, maybe?
The bigger trade associations?
Yes.
Well, let me give you a little bit of my background so you'll understand why this means so much to me, because not everybody gets it.
Perfect.
My husband and I own a remodeling company, and we are in the process of becoming a second generation remodeling company, which is why I have a corporate job. It makes if you have a second generation family company, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But anyway, my husband is my high school sweetheart, and he was he was a contractor, or he was a carpenter, and we became contractors. But the first thing I did was go to my local trade association, because I'm 22 years old and I know nothing about running a business or being a remodeler's wife or QuickBooks or whatever, you know. So I went to the trade association for education, and as I got the education, I became more and more engulfed, the legislative aspect of it, and how much difference that makes to our businesses, and a lot of us don't understand that.
Yeah.
I use this as an example. In the state of Texas, and this is a couple-year-old stat, but for every $1,000 that a home goes up in price, it prices about 26,000 people out of being able to afford that home. So,
Wow, I didn't know that statistic.
When you are working with, and it may be a little old, but
Yeah,
you'll get
it's
the
definitely
point.
close,
Yeah, like if anybody out there is checking me, it might be close. So in the home building industry, which I was very involved in, I'm a past president of the Dallas Builders Association. I still serve on the state and national boards. So, that's still what it does. But once you start learning that about your business, once you get to the point where you understand your business and you understand your numbers, and then you start wow, what legislators do make a huge impact on us.
Oh, yeah.
Licensings, impact fees, that kind of thing. So that's why it's really important, and now I get to mix the best of both worlds. I get to help other people be better business owners, which is, my kids are like, Mom, why do you spend so much time educating other contractors? And I was like, would you rather be against a contractor when you go into bid a job or give an estimate? Would you rather be against someone who is educated and is using the same? In Texas, you don't have to be insured to be a building contractor. So would you rather have someone who chooses to have insurance and chooses to do the right things and chooses to pay their people a fair wage?
Right.
Or would you rather be against someone who doesn't, and they're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
So I think that's why in this role I get to combine both. I get to be working for a company who truly loves helping contractors be better. I mean, there's a lot of us who have previously owned our own companies and have come back to work at Service Nation as business coaches and
Sure,
to help.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so why it's so important to belong to your trade association is you're supporting the whole industry as a whole. You're educating yourself. They have great technical training, most of them, the TACA and the PHCC in this industry. So there's a lot of benefit there. And you know what? The networking on every level. My kids they're like, I'll just take online classes. I was like, no, go sit in the classroom.
Meet some people.
Because,
Yeah.
but not only that, but not like you're going to learn a lot in the classroom, but you learn more in these kind of conversations.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that's what we're doing here. As I walked down the corridor today, and everybody was the energy of everyone talking and exchanging information, and like, oh, that's why we do this.
Yeah, well, and the advocacy side, many of us, maybe we're not political, we're not governmental, we don't really try too hard to get in the mix. We just do what we're told. So when new legislation comes down, new rules, regulations come down, we just adapt, abide, and move on. But some people are really passionate about advocating for licensing changes and things like that. So if that is kind of your jam and you really enjoy that thing, that type of thing, I really encourage you to seek out the ACAs and the TACAs and the GACAs and all that there are for that. But and it is a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
So you come to Service Nation and there's lots of young gun energy, lots of new innovative ideas and things like that. And so that's the vibe here. But then you go to ACA and everything's just a little bit more people with larger companies. A lot of times you've got a lot of commercial size things, but lots of advocacy and regulation. There was a whole track, I think, on regulations. And to me, I was like, whoa.
That does not sound like a good time.
But I understand the importance.
No, absolutely,
I'm thankful for those organizations that do that.
And what I find, a lot of times those organizations can digest it down for me, my simple little level, to understand a lot more than like if I was trying to find my own research from like digging on the own government websites or things like that. Like it's more digestible for me.
What I've been trying to do, because I get all the newsletters of all the associations, and so they often talk about their wins, like licensing wins or just wins. And so I've been trying to. I haven't had the time to publish that, but like, hey, Connecticut did this, or hey, Nevada did this, or hey, Texas did this. These are the wins that we have, and this is how it saves you money. And so even though you don't want to be involved in it, you still can support what's going on, because that still costs money.
Pay attention to the highlights.
Yeah, they have. Pay attention to the highlights, and either you support your trade association, and a lot of them have a PAC, a political action committee, and again, I came from the housing side of things, so I actually chaired the Texas Association Political Action Committee for a year. And so I get, it takes money to do that. So you don't have to be actually one that is there fighting for you. Just understand that that's what your trade associations are doing. They're trying to educate you. They're fighting for you in advocacy. And that's why we at Service Nation want to partner with them. Like, what can we do? We provide speakers and we provide sponsorships, and what can we do as a whole to make you a better contractor?
No, I think it's great. Yeah, no, I think it's great. And a lot of times we forget that we get in our own circle, right? So,
Comfort.
Like Service Nation, we're like a whole little gang over here.
We really are.
And we show up at these things. We love Service Nation, but really we're here to see each other. We just happen to be getting educated, right? So
it's a bonus. It helps you.
It's a bonus.
I learned something, and I had fun.
Yeah,
at the
and it's like
tonight.
a whole social time, But really, there's something to be said for exposing yourself to these other groups.
No, for sure.
And engaging in those. You get out of things what you put into things. And so, there's nothing to be said that you can't be a part of ACA and Service Nation. They just serve a different place in your strategy of building your business. And so, because ACA just had their conference, left there, came here, and just a whole different feel. So I really just encourage listeners, like, find that side of what's close to you, or if you're with Service Nation, hopefully get with Service Nation and look at all of the opportunities that there are to partner together there. So,
or get with me and I will help you direct. Even if you're not part of Service Nation, I'll be more than happy. I don't just drink the Kool-Aid. I learned to mix it a long time ago.
yeah. Well, and I kind of get cracked up at some of this stuff, but when we were sitting at a breakfast for all the women that are a part of Service Nation, AB 80, you know, as an advisory board group full of women. And a lady said, I learned so much from just this networking piece that I love the content. You know, she loves to come. We have good speakers. Tommy Mello, we heard this morning,
Oh my gosh,
and things
he was
like that.
great.
Yeah, so great speakers. But at the end of the day, the best learning comes from sitting, waiting in classes, sitting around the in the bar area, sitting in the lobbies, and just talking and conversing about those things. And so these trade associations provide a lot of that through mixed groups, or their, even like you said, their newsletters. At the very least, join to support with your finances and look at the newsletters and engage in the groups and things like that, just to get as much as you can out of those.
From the remodeling perspective, it's very good. Like in our area, in the DFW area, we can't service that whole area. It's like it's so big, right? So now I know who I would refer you to. If you call me from Plano, I'm going to tell you, call Elite, or if you know that kind of thing. I also can call him and see, or he calls us, like, how are you doing this, or what software are you using? And you can do that. I'm fortunate enough, because I've served at all the whole level, local, state, and national. I can call anyone in any state.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you doing that? What are you doing? Just like, and I've told my kids forever, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Like, it is not, surround yourself with people smarter than you.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, Carol, so if people had some questions, if any of our listeners had questions about Service Nation or these affiliate programs or partner programs, trade associations, I'll get there. If they have any questions,
you've been hearing it the other way a long time.
If anybody has questions about that, how do they reach out to you directly?
My email address is clongacre, LONGACRE @servicenation.com.
Okay.
Or my cell phone is 214-395-1302.
Look at there.
She wants you to get in touch with her. She has all the answers.
Y'all text her, Facebook
all
Messenger,
the things,
Instagram.
Instagram. I recently got good at Snapchat because I have children. I only have a family Snapchat. I don't really have any other Snapchat. We have one family Snapchat, and it's really cool for me because my kids are 27 and 25. So like, hey, I'm here tonight. Hey, I'm doing this tonight. I'm like, oh, I get to know where my kids are.
Yes. Yeah. My kids are 12 and 16 and probably not making great decisions on Snapchat. So Emily's kids can't even have a phone yet.
They're 3, 5, and 6. So we're
Yeah,
not there yet.
like 7. They usually get the 7th birthday. First grade. First grade.
Too soon. No.
So, well, guys, thank you for listening to this short little sip of lemonade here with Carol from Service Nation. Thank you so much for finding the room here and meeting us here and waiting on us, because we were visiting and trying to get over here. But thank you for listening to another episode of From the Yellow Chair. If you have enjoyed this, we would love to have a review. Share it. Share our posts on social media. Like all of our social media. So thank you guys for listening.
Bye.